You're listening to the Cat Breeder Sensei Says podcast. You're here with April and Marche for another episode of the Trigger Warning series. In today's episode, we're talking about early spay and neuter of our kittens before they go home. So this is just a probably a short little trigger warning episode on this topic because it's not super controversial. Just what we like to do in our trigger warning episodes really is just offer different opinions or insight than what is kind of customary. That's really what, we have fun with, is just giving you a different way to think about things. That's all, is to twist things around, because so much of this generalized narrative is pushed down our throats, and you don't always have to think the way everybody else thinks. So that's what our episodes are for, is to just get you thinking. And we get hated for it, I'm pretty sure, Marche, because we are we throw a wrench in the traditional ways of thinking. Mm-hmm. But anyway, y'all listen to this short message that we have for you, and then we're going to come back and talk about ESN, baby.
Join the Sensei Collective membership to transform your cat breeding journey. Dive into interactive breeding courses tailored for beginners and unlock our proven marketing blueprint to grow your cattery with confidence. Visit catbreedersensei.com today.
Hi, Marche.
Hey.
Do we want to start with
The fors or the against?
Right. The fors or the against. The people who are for, the views from them. And everybody has different views, but people who are for and against it. And if you're listening to us, which I guess you are, that was kind of dumb. We've done both. We've done early spay and neuter of our kittens, and we also have not done early spay and neuter. And I have opinions on both. So this is truly just two sides of the coin here we're talking about. And
you've done more research on this than I have.
Yeah, and personal experience too. I mean, that's, from that. And really, currently, and I could change my mind because...
Let your yes be yes, and you know change it later?
Absolutely. There's nothing that is tragic that is going to happen because I do not do early spay and neuter right now.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to... I'm not going to self-combust.
Yeah.
Turn into a ball of flames because I'm sending my kittens home on a contract that says that people will spay. They'll spay and neuter them by 7 months old. So if I discover that it's a bad idea, I'll change it and I'll start sending them home with their surgeries done. Anyway, before we get started, listen. I wrote this awesome, very resourceful blog post. It's not about early spay and neuter. It's about cattery pathogens, okay?
Yeah.
It's freaking good, okay? I know if I was new, and hell, even now, I'm like, go research these topics if they come up in the cattery. Pathogens, which are any any intrusive bacteria or virus that causes a little upset amongst your cats. That's a pathogen. What should you do about it? I'm always like, where did it come from? What do I need to do about it? And a lot of people think they should spay and neuter and retire their cats because they have something like this. Something. Diarrhea, respiratory calicivirus, herpes, coronavirus, mycoplasma, all these things. And anyway, the blog post is a very resourceful guide to let you know you don't need to freak out and spay and neuter your animals, your cats, because they have something like this and what to do about it. And I tried to post it in a Facebook group full of cat hags, and they deleted it. They wouldn't even let me post it because...
Of course they wouldn't.
Why? Why wouldn't they let me post?
They don't want to help people.
Because they don't want to help people. They don't want me to help people, maybe, because I'm so against the grain, and that they just didn't even let it get published. So I posted it in our group.
Okay.
And anybody can go get it. If you're not in our group already, No Judgment Zone, Pedigree Cat Breeder Community. The blog post link is in there, and it's on the website, catbreedersensei.com. It's called A Friendly Guide to Cattery Pathogens. Everybody should go get it and just keep it bookmarked, because it's got the treatment plans, the dosing amounts, where to get these medicines from. I have links right over to the magical little places where you can get it. Not all of them, of course, but anyway, yeah, y'all go get it. It's save it in your like resource file. And if you see anybody asking in the groups out there about any of these pathogens and they're really confused and scared and they don't know what to do, just PM them the link. Give them the link to this. Like, you can't post it because the hags are going to delete it. They don't want you sharing our information, which is so crazy. This could be a whole podcast in itself because I'm triggered. But why can't we have an opinion about something and without people trying to cancel us? Why can't we have an opinion?
It's the way of the world now, Mom.
That's not right.
I mean,
why can't
April.
Why can they push their opinions down everybody's throat, but we can't offer a different opinion and without being like, I don't know, what's it called when you without being canceled? No,
Canceled.
Silenced. You can't silence us though. We got a podcast. So anyway, all right, let's get on to it. For early spay and neuter, okay, which we did for 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe
Let's just talk about our reasons why we did early spay and neuter.
Yeah, maybe 6
begin
years
with.
we did that. Okay.
Well, I want to talk about first, I think, the narrative that I think came a lot with the adopt don't shop movement, and that the shelters say that breeders cause overpopulation of cats.
Yeah.
And it's just not true. And I think that kind of started the early spay and neuter movement in breeders, is that they don't want to, well, that's their now an argument, like, well, I early spay and neuter my cat, so it's not my cats ending up in the shelters. But what is the percentage of pedigree cats in shelters? 1.1%?
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm sure that some do.
Yeah, I know some do, but compared to however many
everything
are,
else.
Go to the shelter, they're all moggies. They're not pedigree cats. So I just think that the narrative came from adopt don't shop. That's my opinion. I have no backing on that. That's just where I think that breeders think they needed to do that because they don't want to be responsible for their cats ending up in the shelters if their cat gets bred or whatever. And then I think that there's another narrative that if you buy a pedigree cat, that you're going to breed it. A buyer is going to breed your...
It's a fear that they have, yeah.
But I think that one, you can tell right off the bat if somebody has that intent because they usually say it. They're usually like, oh, I just want them to have one litter, and then I'm going to spay them.
Right. Or they say, what if I want to buy breeding rights?
Yeah. You know, they usually you get the vibe.
You do.
And that's another great thing is you can decide, I'm going to early spay and neuter this one.
Yeah.
Because I get the vibe that this person's going to do something I don't want him to do.
Right.
Or you decide not to, which we'll talk about why people don't.
Yeah. Breeders do have a big fear that they're going to sell a cat to a buyer who it turns into a backyard breeder.
Yeah.
And if you early spay and neuter the cat, then of course that
prevents it.
Yeah, that problem is solved, and that is that's probably the main reason I did it for so long.
Yeah.
Is I didn't want people getting my kittens and then breeding them.
Yeah.
Like no, you're not even going to have the opportunity to do that. Sorry, this cat is leaving sterilized.
And just a side note, not really a side note, but we asked on our application what pets they have.
Yep.
And if they're intact or not.
Right.
So, like, we know if they have a dog or a cat or whatever that's not fixed already, and then
They tell us too.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, I've got a 1-year-old male that's intact.
Yeah.
A cat.
Yeah, or they'll say like, I plan on fixing him this day or whatever.
Yeah.
If they do, but some of them just have intact cats.
A bunch of them.
And then we can decide.
Right.
Well, no, I'm going to spay that one because I don't want an accidental litter. So I think that a lot of it could come from pre-screening your people.
And that's why after so many years, I felt comfortable switching. Is because I feel like
We have a thorough pre-screening process.
we have, it's very good at choosing the right people. We don't just sell our kittens to anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody can come along and just get a kitten from us. It's just not how it is.
Yeah.
No. We look through and decide, and we look at way more than most people look at.
Yeah.
We do drive-bys of their house.
Yeah.
I look at everybody's house on Google Maps because it's
And everybody should.
Uh-huh.
You should know exactly where your kitten is going so that
Yeah.
you feel comfortable making the decisions that you have to make.
I think we're real good at pre-screening our people and getting pet owners because of the questions we ask on our application. And
If you're interested in having our application, we offer it in the Sensei Collective. You've got pretty much the exact application that we use to pre-screen our buyers. So sign up for Sensei Collective.
membership, it's membership. And not only not the only application, but our whole entire business management training course, how we run our entire cattery business from start to finish. And it's pretty tight. It's pretty buttoned up. So we did early spay and neuter, and I was fine with it. I was like, yeah, all right, these kids are going home. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And once they leave, it's all taken care of. But then I started realizing that there could potentially be issues from it.
Yeah, side effects.
Yeah, and more than I was willing to accept. And this is, it could have been it's just, your mind moves in the way of its dominant thought. And I started looking for these things. I don't know. But let's keep going with the pros for now, though, before we get into, against it.
Okay.
So another benefit of early spay and neuter
Is behavioral benefits.
Males
Yeah.
spraying.
Yeah, because they'll spray, and then sometimes when they get into that habit, they don't stop.
That's
even
correct.
after you fix them. And they're also can be mean. Intact males can be mean. So if
Yeah.
they have other pets, then
Right.
they'll fight them. Fight the resident cat.
Right. And then females going into heat, howling. They'll pee on your stuff.
Yep, sure will. Poo poo too.
Yeah.
Pee pee and poo poo.
Oh man. They'll pee and poo on your stuff, like a female.
I feel like that's more for buyers though. I don't feel like people really early spay and neuter for the benefit of the buyer.
Right.
In my opinion, that's just what people don't say. Like, "Ooh, well, a cat could spray." Like, they don't say that.
Right.
They
They do
say-
it so they don't go home and breed their cats.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest concern, and I think that a lot of that can be overcome with pre-screening. And now they have Spay Secure,
Yes.
which is, if you don't know,
I
what's
love
Spay
Space Secure. I love it. It's genius.
Yeah, you explain it because you know more in depth about it than me.
It's fantastic. Spay Secure is a company. They're new to me, not new on the scene, but they're new to me in the last couple of years. It's a company that is run by lawyers, and they have developed a system that if you send your kittens home intact, they do all of the follow-up to make sure that the kitten is spayed or neutered whenever you say it should be. So you set all the rules. If you say 7 months, it's 7 months. If you say a year, it's a year. But they follow up and do all of the email reminders, and they just stay on top of the buyer to make sure that they spay or neuter the kitten, and they turn in the documentation.
Yeah, so it takes the responsibility off of you as the breeder, for one, and for two, because that can, like, you know, that might put strain on your relationship with your buyer, and you don't want to do that.
Yep.
Constantly nagging them, did you fix the cat, did you fix the cat, did you fix the cat?
Right.
So Spay Secure does that for you. And if they do end up breeding the cat, then don't they go to court with you?
Yep.
With your
They will
contract?
they will
contract that
pursue
they
it.
have?
Yes, they'll pursue it. They will go for your liquidated damages, and they will pursue it in court. So they will take legal action if they don't breed the cat, just if they don't spay or neuter the cat by the deadline, and they're ignoring them, then they will continue to pursue them and end up in court if they have to. So it's an excellent service, and they charge a decent fee. It's not, ridiculous. I don't want to quote a fee because they could change their price at any time. And then if you're listening to this and it's not the price, you'll question that. But when you become a Sensei Collective member, you get a discount. We've partnered with them, not only because they're a great company, but they like the fact that we were a, community of pedigree cat breeders that all had were like-minded. And so we partnered with them, and they offered discounts to our members to get their Spay Secure contracts for a discount off, or you can get a package deal. All that information is on our website, so it's pretty cool. Like, if you do the Spay Secure contracts on all your kittens, like, the discount that you save is worth the membership.
Yeah.
Depending on how many kittens you have and how often you use it. And you don't have to use that on every kitten. You can pick and choose which kittens that you do that with.
Yeah. So I think that kind of negates the argument that you don't want people to go home and breed your cat, because now they have this program that will take care of getting your cat spayed at a later age, which maybe we should talk about why people even want to do that, because we know that the main reason they do it is so that their cats don't get bred.
Right.
Bred by irresponsible pet owners.
Right. So why did we stop sending ours home with early spay and neuter? Well,
it was a recent thing. We just started sending them last couple litters after 5 years of sending them home.
Well, about 6 years.
Early spay and neuter.
We decided we're not going to do that anymore. And we talked about it for a long time before we wasn't just
and we had the same concern.
Right.
That people would go home and breed it.
Yeah. You know how many people actually do that? I mean,
we need a statistic.
Yeah. It's just hag hype, dude. Yes, there are people that will buy your cat and then want to breed it. Yeah. But it's probably like 99% of them do not want to do that.
Yeah.
Is the reward greater than the risk?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Yeah.
What risk? Because we keep talking about risks, but what are the risks?
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing that we noticed with spaying our kittens at like 11 weeks was when we would schedule their appointments. They'd go home at 12 weeks. And they would have, a lot of them had infections in their surgical sites, because kittens are crazy.
Females.
They're rambunctious, and they don't stop moving because they got surgery.
Right.
So they're like, keep them in a cage. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Keep them from jumping.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They'd get hernias.
Yes.
Because they got spayed. So they would have infections and hernias.
I had male. I
incisions.
had some males that they would neuter them and left some of their testicles in there. Left it in there.
Cute.
Yeah. Was it? Was it cute? And guess it got infected. Got a little abscess because they didn't tear off enough of the nut. What? I didn't even never heard of that before. I was like, what is this? I sent a picture to the vet. Oh, I must have left some of it. Like, what? How can you do that? Like, this is simple, I thought. I thought you just popped it out like a pimple.
Yeah. And that was just like common occurrence stuff.
Yeah,
we got a normal part of them getting spayed and neutered. It was always something weird. It was never just a nice, easy healing process, or they'd split it open, or they'd do something crazy.
Yeah, we started complaining, and then we just kept doing it for a good year.
Yeah.
Thinking we need to quit doing that. I don't like taking the kittens and getting them hacked up at this young age. I just don't like it. I don't like them going under anesthesia.
Yeah.
I don't like them getting cut open. I don't, the fear of them being bred when they go home, I don't have it. I
Yeah.
don't have that. That's something that the hags are trying to make me believe, and I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It was not true to me. And whatever I believe is more important than what is true.
Yeah. And it might be true to other people
Sure.
who don't do as deep of a pre-screening process as we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe they should early spay and neuter their cats.
Correct.
But for us, it made more sense.
Yeah, if they're just straw buyer picking
Yeah.
people to
Yeah.
take their cats home.
Right.
But then it was that episode.
Yeah. We started having bigger issues.
Yeah.
That was
it was
more
the
of a
episode.
wake-up call.
I took the whole litter in, got them all spayed and neutered like normal. We're going through our normal process. I have the whole blog post about this on my website. So this ain't a secret. Nothing I do is a secret. Brought the kitten home, and he didn't eat. He quit eating.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, well, what's the matter,
Perfectly
bud?
healthy.
Oh yeah,
Healthy.
right?
Quote,
Quote unquote, quote unquote
When he
healthy
went in.
kitten. Yeah, fine. I got videos of him on YouTube and everything.
He was sold.
yeah, he was
Ready
he was
about to go
going home,
next week.
going home with his brother,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't eat when he came home. So like, the anesthesia. Okay, he's got his anesthesias, but he probably don't feel good. Give him 24 hours. Okay, 48 hours goes by. He didn't eat, and he hasn't pooped. So I'm like, okay, talk to the vet. He has not pooped. He's going to the litter box, but he's not pooping. Okay, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
He's crying in the litter box. Okay, wow. Take him to the vet. She gave him an enema and some...
Because they say anesthesia can slow down kittens' digestion.
That's correct.
So that's why we think all of this happened.
Mm-hmm. Anesthesia can slow the digestion down, and human also.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it does.
Yeah.
And so I'm monitoring this kitten, and he's picking at his food a little bit, but he's not eating it. He's not feeling good, I can tell. I'm letting the buyer know, like, okay, this kitten's not feeling good. And then he's lethargic. Within another 24 hours. Take him back to the vet. They did an x-ray and discovered that his intestines were all stacked up on top of each other. Not intussusception. That's different. Like, his digestion slowed down so much that his intestines were just all bunched up. Crazy stuff. And she told me, basically, it was from the anesthesia. And so we had to euthanize him. Yeah, he didn't get to come home that day.
Which was the only kitten that we've ever had to euthanize.
Yeah.
In 200 and something kittens.
Yeah, yes.
Was
and
from the anesthesia from getting
neutered.
too early.
Yep.
Or rather, neutered early.
Neutered early. Would this have happened if we'd waited till he was 7 months old? We'll never know. I don't know. We don't know. But it happened to him this time. Could have been just the kitten. I don't know. But with all of the other things that were stacking up against early spay and neuter, that was the decision. I think we even spayed a couple more after that. And I had that in the back of my mind. But I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like this, dude. I don't like this. And you know what? Guess what? I was afraid to stop doing it because of what the hags would think about me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm totally against the hags, you still have it in your brain that they're going to judge you for what you're doing, the decisions you're making, and you don't want them to come after you. It is. It's fucked up.
It is.
And so I'm like, oh man, they're going to think they are going to think I'm terrible. But then I was like, I don't care. I got to do what I think is best.
Yeah.
I got to do what I think is right and what I feel good about. And that is not putting these babies under anesthesia and cutting them open. I just can't. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I have never had any regret about it. I send them home intact. I'm happy when they leave. They're happy. They ain't hacked up. They're not bald on their stomach. They ain't got pus coming out of no incision. I mean, it's great.
And the buyers, they get them fixed.
They do. They take care of
They
it.
send us a text and say, blah, blah, blah. It got fixed today.
Yep.
You did great.
I don't have to ask them for it.
And I think a part of that also has to do with how we manage our relationships with our buyers, is them being in touch with us pretty much
all the time.
When something major is like they're going to surgery, they tell us.
Right.
So I think that we have that benefit because we work hard at having a good relationship with our buyers.
Yeah. And I think if they wanted to breed the cat, they'd probably just ask us.
Probably.
And we could make a decision at that time whether or not we wanted to say yes or no, you know? And I think they would honor that decision and say, okay, you know, maybe
100%.
we say, oh, you know, that one wasn't really one that we had anticipated being a breeding cat, but, you know, maybe we can talk about it on a different one or something. I don't know. But, you know, or just say, no, that's not what we do. We don't really do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we don't do it anymore.
Yeah, but we also had some instances later in life, older cats that we did early spay and neuter because we breed Maine Coons, obviously, as we say in every podcast episode, in case you didn't know.
Yeah. Well, if this is the first time you listen to it, like this is your intro episode.
I hope it's not. Yeah. Go back, watch some good ones first.
Some ones where we're not trying to trigger everybody.
But we had ones that were older, and they ended up having broken hips.
Yeah.
Like they would just fall off shit and break their hips. Like this shouldn't
fracture
happen.
them.
Yeah, like they had weak bones, which is...
It's called something, and I it's such a big word, I don't know it.
Yeah, and it's theorized that can happen from early spay and neuter because the cats don't get all of their growth hormones to solidify their hip bones and their plates and everything like that. So
yeah, and the growth hormone argument is the typical one that comes from people who don't early spay and neuter, and most vets agree. That they do not like doing early spay and neuter on especially Maine Coons because they're slow to mature. Yeah. And they really like for time to develop. They want them to develop before they start taking their hormones. You know, you take a uterus and you take a testes out, and that's their hormone.
That's a big part of what makes
the
important shit in their body, just like people.
Yeah, and I mean, I had to literally convince our vet to do it, you know, to do early spay and neuter, and, you know, tried to explain to her why, which was, I don't want them going, I'm breeding them. She was like, okay, I can understand that, and she kind of begrudgingly did it. Yeah. But she didn't want to. She kept saying, I really like for them to be 6 months old, and most vets do that. I see a lot of people say, I can't find a vet that'll do it. They won't do it before the kitten is 6 months old. Well, that's probably because they know more. They see more than we do. They see issues that come up from that. And I wish I could remember what that condition was called. I had two different, not the same line either. So it wasn't like I had this in my lines. I looked it up, whatever this issue was with it. I think it happened at like 10 months old, where he like was jumping on a chair and he like stumbled and fell off and fractured his hip, had to get pins in it. Could it have been a fluke? Sure. But when I looked it up, it was related. It was in PubMed too, by the way, a credible source. It was related to early spay and neuter, specifically in Maine Coon cats. Huh. And that was, you know, I'm still like, wow, the odds are stacking up in favor of me not doing this anymore.
And
I see hernias a lot, and like, well, what should I do? Should I tell the buyer? Well, what's that hernia from? Is it from early spay and neuter?
I had a cat. Had a kitten named Cash. Mm-hmm. He had a hernia. He didn't get early spayed and neutered. Right. I don't know why he had a hernia, but he did.
He did. That was weird.
But his was not from early spay and neuter. No. So.
But I've had several that got hernias from early spay and neuter. I had to take them back and get it repaired. Yeah. Like females. It's always the females.
They're crazy. They just run around crazy.
So, you know, it's just, to me, I like having peace of mind and peace mental health piece, because the cats drive you crazy enough, without without all this added stress on top of it from taking them in to get surgery at 11 weeks old or 12 weeks old or whenever you do it. Anything, I just feel a lot better with them handling that when they're older. So you can choose whatever you want. That's the benefit of being who we are. We get to choose. Because it's your circus. and then you're monkeys. So, anyway, I wouldn't call this a trigger warning because it's...
No, it didn't feel like a trigger warning.
No, because it's not. It's just an interesting topic, so maybe we won't call this one trigger warning.
Yeah.
It's not really a triggering until they find out we don't do it.
Yeah, then they're like...
Then they're going to get triggered! So, it wasn't enough. We were just... this is just an early spay and neuter discussion. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
About early spaying and neutering your kittens. And listen... Maine Coons are different than other breeds.
Yeah.
We kind of live and breathe Maine Coons. So we don't know if the same things happen to other breeds. We don't know if you have a Minuet or a Abyssinian. Did I say that right?
Probably.
If they suffer the same type of consequences.
Right.
We don't know. All we know is what ours do.
Right.
So you have to take that with a grain of salt and, decide from there. But the point of this episode and every episode we do and every blog post we do and everything we do is always to get you to think for yourself and not always listen to the hype that surrounds pedigree cat breeding and the narratives that get pushed down your damn throat. They make me so mad because, it kind of alters you from thinking for yourself when you get caught up in them groups.
Yeah.
They're terrible places.
And it steers you from making whatever decision is best for you and your cattery.
Yeah, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
What the hags think doesn't matter. And man, those hags will prevent you from doing what you really want to do.
Yeah.
In fear that they might find out. That's fucked up. Isn't it?
It is. It's crazy how they have so much power.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, like, I get messages from newbies and even people that ain't newbie and say, I'm afraid to even post this. I for example, this is totally off topic, but somebody messaged me about one of their adults that pees outside the litter box. Okay, she's like, who's gonna take this cat? Like, I'm so embarrassed about this cat. Who's gonna take her? Nobody's gonna take her. I can't post this. Like, what are they gonna think about me having this cat? I'm like,
wow.
They probably have them pissing on their sofa.
Yeah.
At least you've got her in outside of your house, so you just don't worry about what people think. You do what works for you. Do what's right for you, and don't worry about what they think, because they're mean, evil people out there. This society and these cat breeders, they're just twisted. They're so twisted. Okay, well, until next time, you guys come join Sensei Collective. Become a member. We have a private Discord for members only.
Yeah. No hags.
No hags are allowed in our Facebook group or in our Discord. We don't play that. We don't play that. We don't want nobody like that around us. One little wind of it. Catch a wind, you're out.
Yep.
We don't want you around us. We want a circle of people that are
positive and uplifting and
open-minded.
Understanding.
Sure, you can have your own beliefs. That's great because everyone has their own beliefs.
Yep.
They
sure do.
Don't try to push your beliefs on anybody else.
No.
Keep them to yourself.
And just find people that you connect with instead of trying to make everybody connect with you.
Yeah, homie. That's it. That's what I be doing.
Oh my God.
Try to find the people that connect with me. Okay, anyway, y'all make good choices out there. We'll see you later now. You hear? Say bye, Marche.
Bye.